today there's a lot to unpack, and I want to kind of paint the whole picture. Why are we here, where we are right now? And maybe on a personal note, so my new name is Dr. Collect. I will react also if someone calls me Dr. Profit, but my new name is to stay. So I'm a VeVe collector since March 2000. Is it 2021? I keep forgetting.
That is it. That's
2020.
it.
And initially, I always wanted to do something for the community, and that's why I created Stacker kind of as an analytics platform. And at some point, there was the question like, look, there is a need that a third party needs to build a marketplace. When David asked me, "Do you want to build that marketplace?" and obviously I took on board this job. And yeah, look, and we have some lessons learned. So one of the key lessons is also that blockchain and backend is a bit messy, right? So people that use Stacker might know that we have some downtimes, and sometimes it was just hard to have multiple sources of truth, sync mechanisms, and observe that everything. This is a problem that we wouldn't have had if collect chain existed in first place. If you have collect chain, you have one source of truth, because ultimately it also plays in with self-custody. I'm going to explain maybe a little bit later, but we would have not the same problem. We would have zero. I wouldn't say we have zero problems, but it would be close to zero. Anyway, so maybe I want to first address what we are not. So we're not another crypto project that launches a token and distributes these to users with and creates some fake activity, hope that the users will stick somehow to that chain. We want to start with you, the VeVe users or Ecomi token holder. You are our first users, and where this is the basis, and it's you're the first class citizen basically of that chain. So also we are not immutable X. Immutable X is not a it's not a general purpose chain. It has limited capabilities, and we're building more. We're building an ecosystem, and there's a few reasons why we decided to build our own chain. Also, want to address that because we're going to be a layer 2, we don't need a network token. The plan is to use USDC or ETH for gas. And yeah, that's kind of the current plan. Also, I want to kind of preview a little bit the big picture. Like we think that digital collecting in general is, well, being broken is a little bit too drastic, but you know that ecosystems can die. Now Candy users don't know where they end up. If somebody knows Candy, give them a shout out. We can host them, right? We want licensors to feel safe on our chain. And also, like the big picture is that we want to enable licensor to sell directly to their clients, right? And so everything we do is actually we want to grow that ecosystem. We want to be that foundation for that ecosystem. And we believe, look, there's multiple speculations how many users we have. Is it 10,000, 50,000, 5,000? But we can grow that by 4 or 5 orders of magnitude. And at the moment, when once Collect Chain launches officially, we have one app, but we want to have multiple apps. And I want to invite everyone to see that multiple apps will actually, like the network effects will be bigger, right? And again, like VeVe Ecomi is a first-class citizen, is our first client. They help to design our features, but also the OMI token and utilities, all of that can and will happen on Collect Chain, and we will support that 200%, right? So we are behind that project, obviously, and we want to facilitate everything that is possible. Look, I want to start by describing a little bit our strategy. And we are a B2B platform. We want to go big. Obviously, we have a blockchain, and that is the very crucial part of the technology. But we also want to onboard licensors. VeVe has beautiful licensors, but there will always be licensors that are not maybe a direct fit, or they just can't handle more licensors. We can I don't know, onboard football clubs or ticket sales companies, other licensors. Our goal is really we want to onboard 1 billion users. We believe that by also replicating real world rules, um, um, and I will come to some of the unique features that our chain has. We can onboard everyone, and our tech stack is so good. We're actually quite confident that we can host a lot of users, and we want to be that number one chain where licensors trust their IP. Um, and we have three type of users. But I want to address licensors first. I don't believe if you don't get licensors right, that your chain or your project will go anywhere. So licensors don't feel safe. They want their rights to be enforced. They want royalties to be guaranteed. If they don't have any trust, there will be no ecosystem growth. So it's for us very, very important that we cater to licensors. But I will also address later how we will cater to users and maybe game developers. So today we have two apps, VeVe and VeVeverse, right? But it's not an ecosystem. We want to build that ecosystem and the infrastructure that will support that ecosystem. And maybe let's start with maybe our first key innovation. We will have on-chain license agreement. You can also think of it a little bit as digital rights management. But for us, I mean, in conversations with David, Dan, we found out what is actually the most important thing for licensors. They want to be able to control how the assets can be used. And we think they want these assets to be used in multiple experiences or apps. But if they don't like an app because it's not family friendly, they will not whitelist it, right? So, for example, this on-chain license agreement will enable licensors to whitelist apps. So if they like app ABC, they will whitelist app ABC. It could be an AR experience. It could be even an artificial intelligence experience. It could be a marketplace that is whitelisted. A lot of brands, for example, don't want their brand to be listed on Amazon, right? So, I mean, the luxury brands. We will do the same thing. We will allow the licensors to control how the assets are listed. And the same is for example, we have one innovation. It's family and friends transfers. Look, if the licensor doesn't like it, they don't have to enable it. But I think it's a fair idea, and we have hope that everyone will kind of like that. And yeah, anyway, it will be always the licensor's decision, right? How assets can be used. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm gonna list some more features, right? So I already touched upon the family and friends list. So we believe, and it's not set in stone, that a user should be able to nominate 5 to 10 users, his buddies, family and friends. Within that group, right? The users can transfer for free. We might even, if I transfer an item to you for free, it has to maybe reside at least for 6 months in your wallet, because you shouldn't be that ungrateful and send that NFT to someone else, right? Or maybe 12 months. These are like stuff that is not fully determined. And I'm not sure if the listeners have now checked the new ARC 721C standard. So it is quite common now that transfers will be not free in the with this standard. So basically, it can be now enforced that a item can only be traded on a marketplace, on a whitelisted marketplace. And these NFT projects will be doing that to also enforce royalties. And I think, for example, with this family and friends list, we can do better, right? So we know that there should be some possibility also to transfer for free. We will, and a lot of the stuff that I'm saying doesn't mean it's going to be there from minute one. There will be several phases how we will implement that. For example, we're sure we can create a lending with auto return. I'm going to lend you my Lamborghini. 1 week later, it returns. This can actually not be done with NFTs easily. Yeah. So with NFTs, if I transfer you my NFT, I have zero chance to get my NFT back, right? So we will develop protocol that will be able to do it, and our opinionated chain will be able to handle that. And another innovation is because like people will ask like how can you enforce that these items can only be used in a certain application. So we will have a storage layer or content delivery network. So only if it can verify if you own an asset and if that app is whitelisted, only then we will deliver the asset and the decryption key to you. Then another innovation is the location protocol. So in order that you can use one asset only in one location, right? Or no, you can use only an asset in one location. In the real world, you can't use an asset in two different locations. So it will be checked in maybe in a racing game, your Lamborghini, right? And by the way, when I'm using Lamborghini, it's at the moment not a real example, but it's a good example to illustrate this. And so with the check-in, check-out process, we will ensure that an item can only be used in one location, and we can track on our blockchain explorer the history, how the item has been used, right? So this is going to be an innovation. The blockchain explorer will show that. And look, even if you maybe now race with your car some laps and you have a record, we could potentially store that also on chain. So the items will become more unique over time. That's the idea. And so I also don't want to forget that we have collectors, right? And the collectors we've done a survey, and I think Omilli has potentially already posted a link to that
I'm posting
survey.
that now.
Okay. And so, yeah, we would like to invite you to give us your opinion. What are the most important things that you want to see? The new chain, the new ecosystem. What are the most important features that you want to look at? And so we did the survey already in a smaller group. And one of them is users want, for example, to preserve their collectible. Ideally, they become immortal, right? And also, they want a bigger ecosystem. They want more apps or games where they can use it, right? So this is uh, quite was the common answer that these are the most important things. And so we see ourselves as the partner of the users that we can make that happen. Yeah. And we don't feel confident, like as mentioned some things. So we could have built maybe some of the stuff on base or but also don't worry about it. Nothing will change. We'll be very close to base, right? But we need also a technical setup where we have a high throughput, and we can have a much higher throughput than base. So very confident about the technical abilities. Um, anyway, so the same thing, we want to have a build an ecosystem for app and game developer. This is, by the way, something I call interoperability. Interoperability means that you can use that asset in different um, 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 environments, right? So maybe we have a bunch of VeVe users that know how to develop a Unity game, right? We can give them our SDK. Again, that's something which is planned for phase 2, phase 3, right? So we're just starting. But we want to enable app developers to have a variety of assets that they can use. They don't have to maybe license the car. They can build a racing game and don't have to pay royalties to car brands, right? And that's for me true interoperability, not ignoring the fact that self custody is sometimes also perceived as interoperability or trading on different marketplaces. Maybe one example to make it a little bit more visual. Our CTO, he is a big movie fan, and he doesn't really like to buy movies on Apple and Amazon. And as far as I know, DVDs or Blu-rays are not a thing anymore. And so you can't really own a movie. You kind of own it on that ecosystem. And if that ecosystem shuts down, then you don't own it, or for maybe they exclude you because you misbehaved. We could technically sell movie NFTs, and that publisher would say, okay, I like these 5 players, and I'm whitelisting them. And from then, that point on, you onwards, you can actually stream that movie. You could even run a backup node and store that movie offline. So these are things that we're working towards to, not promising anything like for like a very near future. So right now we're very busy with the VeVe migration. And yeah, let's go now into some technical details because we had a lot of questions around that. So we are a layer 2 blockchain. It's an EVM blockchain. We use Celestia as the data availability layer that gives us a tons of advantages. One of them is speed and throughput. And one of the reasons why we have a fantastic throughput is also because we use a virtual machine called Ref. It's a Rust implementation, which is really the latest technology. So we're very happy. We are a general purpose chain, so not unlike Immutable X. And as mentioned, so we want to make it seamless for users to either use their email to use the blockchain, but also if you're used to your MetaMask or your base wallet, you can use that as well, right? Similar to Stacker, like we know that you can do things. We have to do things better. So, for example, right now you have to connect Stacker to your VeVe account. We will put everything to work that it's more like a unified system where you don't have to kind of double or triple verify. And so it will be just log in with email. And for example, you can pay with credit card. So even if the listing is in maybe in OMI or USDC, we will be able to allow easy access and payments. And yeah, maybe we can use. We'll check it out. But some providers also to offboard with your fiat, right? As mentioned, so I'm confident to say, and we did some tests, that we feel like we're, I don't know, factor 100x faster than Immutable X. And also Immutable X, you will see, is not something which you can permanently rely on. So there was some need to change. We can go down to 100 millisecond block time. I'm not sure if we'll start like that. Maybe even potentially 50 milliseconds. This could be very interesting for games. And we tested ourselves. We have 10,000 transactions per second. And with that ref, with the Rust execution layer, we're very happy. And so we have a partnership with Binary Builders and Celestia. Binary Builders is the leader in blockchain infrastructure. A lot of projects are relying on that, and we are partnering with them. And Celestia is a data availability layer where you can also verify your ownership, and it's backed by billions of dollars. It's really a cool thing. Look, now just mentioning there will be several phases of the migration. Phase 1 is scheduled for, I want to say, like end of January. Nothing will change for the VV user, except there might be new link. It's not going to be the Immutable X Explorer. It's going to be our Explorer for Collect Chain. And in phase 2 is, let's roughly aimed at summer next year. That means at that point, everything is truly Web3. So kind of self-custody, we have a protocol that enforces royalties, on-chain license agreement. The big innovations, the most important innovations will be online. And and then we have some sort of roadmap later. So just some items on the roadmap for later, and we will kind of communicate that a little bit better. Look, and so just to wrap it up, so we're not another crypto project. We build real infrastructure for digital ownership and we build for licensors, collectors, and developers. So yeah, thank you for listening to my long monologue, and we can start firing away some questions. Maybe the first one will be addressed to Foster.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Collect. I think it's very eye-opening for everybody who's in here. Anything?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. And yeah, I mean
Uh-huh.
it's really cool to hear Dr. Clark talk about all this stuff first and foremost, right? I mean, for a lot of people, this is going to be their first time that they're ever really hearing about blockchain and all the stuff that kind of goes on behind the scenes. But when you start to realize the prevalence of and importance of making sure that you have a system that runs very smoothly in the background to accomplish a lot of these things. I think Collect has done a great job of that, and we're looking forward to seeing all the developments coming for them. As far as the impact for Omi, I think the most important thing to remember, and for users to really take away, is that the token's not being replaced and it's not going anywhere. As a matter of fact, this will actually open up more doors for Ecomi as a company and Omi as a token as we work to grow and onboard users into Omi via the Collect chain. We've been working alongside Collect for quite a while now to make sure that the token that powers where the world collects continues to develop and evolve. And we're focusing on utilities and features that will expand and grow within that Collect ecosystem. As Dr. Collect mentioned, Omi is a first class citizen of the chain. And we feel honored to be the first utility token to have this opportunity to build out and shape the digital collecting landscape, similarly to how we've been able to do with VeVe to date. And so integrating with Collect will allow us to meaningfully scale the utility for the token and the ability to onboard new users. These features will be primarily comprised of things that the community has been asking for. And they'll be built on the foundation and complement existing features that we've already created, such as Omida NFT, Omida Gem, daily and seasonal rewards, leaderboard rewards, and more. And so we see a lot of alignment with Collect and how we can grow and scale Omi through their ecosystem. And we look forward to sharing our plans as we get closer to the release of the chain and the features that we've been working on. And so, this is one of the biggest steps for Omi token utility and accessibility to date. And I can assure everyone that's listening right now that the best is absolutely yet to come.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And I think now we can get into it as far as the blockchain and basics. Is that cool with you, Dr. Collect?
Oh yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. What advantages does Collect Chain have over other collector focused chains like Abstract? And what potential disadvantages should users be aware of? And I just want to remind people these questions came from you guys. We really, really appreciate them. We put as many as we could. So, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. And also want to mention that they're neutrally picked by Grok, right? So we
Mhm.
taught Grok to look at the reaction and likes. And so these are the most liked or upvoted questions, basically. I
Perfect.
mean, it's an interesting question to compare ourselves with abstract. So look, there's I want to say there's hundreds and a lot of good chains L2s that are, uh, in my opinion, not trying to solve like a specific problems. We could also like throw in story protocol, which is very IP driven, a chain. So what we are focusing on is to solve a problem of big licensors. And we don't see any other project that is focusing on that. And by focusing and solving it for the big licensors, we are making it as attractive as possible. And look, I can now name, as mentioned before, we have a content delivery network attached to the blockchain. So the files are not on chain, but they're coordinated by the by will be coordinated by the blockchain. We have an absolute fantastic throughput, and we wanted to build really the chain that solves these problems for licensors for the world of digital collecting. I don't see another chain trying that at the moment, and that's fine if there will be. But I want to say we are the first chain that addresses these problems directly, and we can also see ourselves like we are a chain that, like Abstract, I think, was giving away a lot of tokens to new users, or although I'm not sure. We can work with any chain, right? So if you have a game on Arbitrum, we want to be that chain that hosts your valuable collectible and enforces royalties, etc. So we will be compatible ultimately with all the ecosystems, and we can be used in conjunction with any. We don't need to be that blockchain where your whole ecosystem runs. We're just there for the digital collecting. Yeah. Hard to, but the some of the technical details I mentioned are not possible, for example, on Abstract or IP protocol or Story protocol.
Okay, perfect. How will Collect Chain handle high traffic events like big drops to ensure smooth performance and scalability? I know that's a special
Yeah,
question
yeah.
for people too.
Yeah, look, the way and unfortunately how the Stacker and so Stacker was maybe not scaling right now as good as possible because we have these bottlenecks, APIs that we have to work. If in an ideal world, like we can handle 10,000 transactions, so all we need is the users need to query the indexer, and once so the RPC nodes, once they are they know the latest state of the blockchain, they can sign a transaction. So I think I was maybe a little bit too complicated. So we think we can handle 10,000 transaction, and the scalability of the website is can be done with Vercel, etc. We're kind of using it right now, but we will have a better implementation. Look, I'm in a way, I'm confident that we can handle 10,000 users in the future in parallel. And if there are bottlenecks, we're kind of happy to address them as they come. But when it comes to the blockchain itself, we're actually confident that we can look if there's an or a VV drop with 50,000 comics, right? We technically will be able to handle it in 5 or 10 seconds. The bottleneck will be, if anything, the website or the RPC nodes.
Okay, perfect. Then we will go to one of the most important things people have been asking for a very long time. This is self custody and interoperability. Will
So self-custody in our definition is that you have MetaMask, for
Mhm.
example, but okay, technically self-custody, the Privy wallet that we're using is self-custody because you could export your private key, but it feels like a Web2 application. And so but when people talk self-custody, they really talk about the MetaMask, and you will be able to store your grails. I think people will mostly use it for grails and will
Yeah.
push it to their MetaMask, and nothing will change. By the way, what will change is usually, and you can see it on Stacker, the transactions we can sponsor on a Stacker wallet, we cannot sponsor a transaction once they're in MetaMask because yeah, this is not possible. So people will have to have their gas token to pay for transaction, which will be cheap, right? So they can have $1, but without a gas token, they will not be able to transact. But yeah, the short answer is yes, they will be able to store those collectibles in their MetaMask.
Okay, perfect. After migration, will bridging VVNFTs to other chains like Ethereum be possible for full interoperability? And I know you covered a bit of what that word means. Could you break
Yeah,
that
I
down a
have
little bit
a
for the people?
yes, yes. You can imagine. So first of all, the licensor will decide. If the licensor feels that it's very important to be able to bridge to layer one, we will put that on the roadmap and allow it. But I can already forecast that some of the function that I was talking to, like you want to check into a computer game, etc., um, is actually only possible if you have it on collect chain, right? And that's something I wanted to highlight. I know what is important is for the user that you could be able to do it. That doesn't mean that all the users will do it, right? And also, I'm not sure if it was not explicitly addressed, but obviously that people also think or like the idea that it could be traded on a different marketplace. So again, technically, all of that will be possible, and it will be down to the licensor to decide if they want to enable that or not.
Okay, great. I think we can. I don't know speak for the licensors, but I feel like if that's been part of the issue of dealing with the the Disneys and then the big licensors, I don't know if we really see them changing their mind, right?
Um, I mean, maybe they look. That's speculation. They're not blockchain experts, right?
Hmm.
So they will react on what the users want, right? At the moment, there is no direct channel to them because everything is more indirect, right? So they want to address maybe Disney to create utility for a specific NFT, but at the same time, VeVe will be is held responsible. But I think we once we create a system where you can address directly your concerns with the licensor,
Hmm.
then it's really it's if people are unhappy with the licensor, how the licensor handles things, now they have a direct channel and all they need to do is flip a switch, right? So that's kind of how I see it, hopefully playing out in the future, and it's really up for them to decide. So if
Yeah.
they uh, look, there's an argument if items, if assets can be bridged to layer one, that there will be more worth, right? But if you
Hmm.
look, even if you think about layer one and layer two Ethereum, they're both worth the exact same thing. But okay, maybe it's a bad example, but we we see the activity happening on layer two,
Hmm.
and if you would be able to bridge them to layer one, that could create value, but that doesn't mean that all the users will do it. Just the ability to be able to do it could create the value.
Yeah, I believe you're correct there. And I know we covered this, but just once again, want to make sure everybody knows what's going on. So, is Collect Chain EVM compatible, allowing seamless integration with wallets like MetaMask for self custody and transfers?
Yes, yes, it's 100% EVM, general
Perfect.
purpose. That said, we will allow the licensor to um, uh, create the rules on how transfers are either free or subject to royalties.
Okay, great. And I saw this one quite a bit on different tweets, so we'll ask it here. Can other NFTs like Bored Apes or Elmon X collectibles be traded or custodied on Collect Chain in the future?
So technically, we could allow that board apes could be transferred. I mean, that said, I think the natural way would be that we talk to these projects and convince them that if you want to have your board ape also in the VV-verse, would be good if you bridge them. I mean, look, I don't want to be unrealistic. So on the one hand, look, if you bridge it, it's going to be on the exact same wallet address, right? So it's a little bit like in MetaMask when you can flip the switch between the different networks. I don't think it's really necessary to bridge it unless we have a collaboration with the project, and then the project gets the perks of being on Collect,
Yeah, I think
and we
that's
can
fair.
negotiate that. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Will collectors be able to verify ownership and transaction history on an independent block explorer, independent of the VV app?
Yeah, I mean the answer is so we have a blockchain explorer. The word independent is it's a open source project, Block Scout.
Hmm.
I mean, that said, we plan to build a lot of new features because the way that I mentioned before, there is a provenance for every collectible, and we want to really display that. So you click on a certain NFT, and then you will see, okay, that has been used in computer games or in AR AI application,
Ooh.
and so I think it would look on an independent blockchain explorer very, very messy. So our job will be to display it better, but we will be open to anyone that builds a blockchain explorer to display that.
Okay, perfect. Now, can we get to some of these migration questions, or is there any? I don't know if there's anything else you've thought about that we haven't covered yet, or else we could jump into this.
I
I think
think we can.
we're doing good
Yeah,
so far,
yeah, yeah.
and we're good on
Okay.
time. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, migration questions. How will FAFE tags, mint numbers, edition sizes, burn history, and ownership provenance be preserved during the migration? Great question.
Yeah, yeah. And it's not straightforward. So right now
Hmm.
we are migrating with more like a snapshot, but we have plans to show the full history and bring it on chain. This might happen in phase two rather than phase one because now the speed was more important. But we do have all the history and provenance, and we will find a way to verify it or display it on our blockchain explorer. There's still one or two options that we're considering. That's why I don't want to exactly say how it is, but we know the goal is very simple. You want to see the full history, and it should be on chain.
Yes, I think the good thing about you being part of the community for so long, you understand all this stuff is mostly what we've been asking for a long time. So you kind of are
Oh yeah,
building with that knowledge.
oh yeah.
Okay, where will metadata for migrated NFTs be stored to ensure long-term accessibility and integrity?
I mean, I think still the standard, and I should have checked that maybe before, is IPFS or IFPS. Yeah, and but we also have our own content delivery network and archive nodes. So I think we can basically cater to both and store it in both locations. So yeah, that's I think the answer to that.
Okay, perfect. What is the exact timeline for phase one migration to collect chain, and when will the dedicated collect website launch?
Yeah. So January is the plan for the phase one migration.
Hmm.
And there's going to be maybe two steps. So we will be visible in December at some point, rather later than earlier, with the website. That said, and then it will link at some point to the blockchain explorer. But there's going to be much, much more that you can do on the Collect website, and but that's a bit later planned down the line for phase two.
Okay, okay. So yeah, I think we've all learned about the when and the soons. So we'll keep it to what you know so far, which we know phase one migration for January and the collect website in sometime in December. I believe you had said.
So say it again. Sorry, you broke
Sorry,
up.
did you say for the website for collect sometime in December?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So basically, we will inform everything we're talking right now will be more formalized with roadmaps and some information that everyone can read.
perfect. And will standard NFT formats like ERC 721 or ERC 1155 be used post migration for broader compatibility? This is great too.
I'm not exactly sure if I 100% understand the question, but yeah, we can or will support all the ERC standards, but we might have a preference, right? So we might go for the new standard ERS 721C.
Hmm.
But technically, since we're general purpose chain, everything is possible on our chain.
Okay, perfect. And okay, one more here. What new features like direct peer-to-peer trading or bundling collectibles will become available on Collect Chain after migration? I'm loving all these questions, by the way, because this is all
Mhm.
stuff we've been wanting for a long time.
Yeah, yeah. And this is not even a question directly for Collect Chain. So
Hmm.
all of this is possible on Collect Chain because again, it's a general purpose blockchain. So it's more like a UI UX problem.
Hmm.
And it's either Stacker is gonna solve it or the Collect app will have basically a marketplace where we solve this. And bundling collectibles was always addressed, so I'm very well aware. We will be on par with any standard NFT marketplace feature parity, basically. So yeah, these are known things. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. I think that's it as far as the ones that we had. Foster, I don't know if you want to jump in here. Anything you want to add?
No, I mean, look, I'm super excited to be able to hear these
Hmm.
things, come directly from Dr. Collect. Obviously, this is something that we've heard that they've been working on for quite a while, but to understand the full scope of what is being developed, and yeah, I'm just really looking forward from our side to be able to start to share a little bit about how Omi's going to fit into the wider ecosystem, and so yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I know that there might be some community questions that people had put in the
Yes,
chat that we
yes.
may have already written down there, but yeah, I mean, if anything pops out specifically, you can let us know. And yeah, I think it's been a great space so far.
Okay, perfect. I will look at the questions in the crowd right now just to make sure anything we haven't gone over, we can do just that. Uh, there's a lot of David U fans in the crowd asking where he is. Guys, we got to focus on what we need to do here today. So I'm just going to check while we are live here. And I'm hoping people have been here since the beginning because I'm seeing a couple of questions that have been kind of, we kind of went through. So you might have to listen back to the recording, guys. Dr. Collect or Foster, you guys see any questions that we haven't gone through yet?
Yeah, there might be a couple. I can quickly
Please
flag
let
them
me
for you.
know.
I think I might have just sent them to you actually that you can potentially ask to Dr. Collect that I think could be relevant. I think the community's asked some great questions, and I think, like you said too, I think something to keep in mind that's important is all of these questions were generated from the community through
Yeah.
posts that Dr. Collect had put out, and they were kind of organized and categorized by Grok. So it was complete third party, right? So these are
Hmm.
genuine questions the community has, and I think it's important for people to remember too, especially if you're not blockchain native. Probably a lot of information being thrown at you right now, and we totally understand that. So Collect will be releasing a wider roadmap and information on their website in December at some point. So you'll have kind of a better understanding of some of these things. But if for whatever reason you didn't understand anything, we'll also look at hosting additional spaces as well, so that people have an opportunity to digest all the information and then ask questions when it's more relevant. So,
Okay, perfect. And you could just DM me the questions that you're seeing.
So I see question, will Collect have a separate native token? And the answer to that is no, we're not planning. Again, this is also since at the moment we're planning for an L2, there's no need for a native token. So similar to Base, we are not planning. And I'm not sure if I addressed this before. I think there was a question at some point that I read how decentralized we are. And you can picture it like this. We similar to Base, we have a centralized, but maybe soon a more decentralized sequencer. but that's very important item to be really fast, and base is using that too. And I think some question around master keys. So when you run a layer 2 blockchain, you cannot reverse transaction. The only thing that you can technically do, because I think there was a question like that, you can potentially ignore transaction. So you could say like, I don't like this user. So I'm just saying what technically is possible. I'm not saying we're going to do that, but we cannot roll back or free a transaction. Once the L2 is running, it will keep running basically. And then there's going to be a way to validate your possessions on the data availability layer.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I'll go through a couple of these. Thanks, Foster and emoji down there. Would gas be low like a base or SUI since it's an L2?
I don't have the SUI comparison, but we will be below base, and
Okay. Oh, below
that's
base.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Reminder: it's a sister chain to base. So okay, that makes sense. Do we know if existing brands IP from VeVe will be on Collect? Well,
Maybe I do misunderstand it a bit. So all of the brands that
yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Foster,
will be.
did you look at that question differently? Because I think they're just asking. I don't know if they think in Collect it'll just be new IP, but everything on VeVe will be on Collect, is what I understand.
Yeah, that's how
Mhm.
I understood the question as well. I just think it was
Okay,
worth
okay,
reiterating because if one person was asking
it's a
it, it's
good point.
possible multiple might be thinking it. And so I think that it's great, right? I think all the existing brands in IP, over 200 of the biggest brands in IP in the world are all going to be on Collect, which I think is incredible. You think about Disney, Marvel, DC,
Hmm.
Lamborghini, Coca Cola, USPS, so on and so forth. Are all trusting Collect with their IP, and VV obviously has a lot of faith in Collect. And then OMI as well, as the official utility token that powers VV, has a lot of confidence in what Collect is building out, and we see a lot of great synergies that will exist with their chain as we look to scale and onboard new users and new kind of utilities and features into the ecosystem. So yeah, it's very cool.
Awesome. Now I have another one here. Can a licensor block non-custodial ownership, Doctor Collect?
Um, Ownership cannot be blocked, but I mean, as I mentioned before, and
Hmm.
this is for any L2, and I mean, technically, some ways to do it on an L1 too. Um, um, we could ignore transactions from one specific address, and it's not foreseen that a licensor will ask us to do that, and we haven't thought of that in a way that it should be a possibility. I'm just saying technically any L2 can do it. That's maybe the how I want to phrase it.
Okay, perfect. Let's go. Oh, okay. This is Bobby. How decentralized is it initially? Can users run their own nodes?
Yeah, yeah. So I wanna that's why I introduce the word um, sequencer, right? So
Hmm.
in order to run an L2, you need a sequencer. And as far as I know, all the L2s have centralized sequencers. And it's a little bit like a blockchain with training wheels. And over time, everyone wants to kind of decentralize it. We're on the same path. There will be at some point ways to decentralize the sequencer. And if that's going to be community owned or some other way, how we give that right to other, I'm not sure, but we will kind of follow the lead of other L2s in order to decentralize the L2.
Okay, perfect. Will there be fees for moving collectible out of Vivi into a different wallet? Can it be moved back into Vivi?
Um, yeah, this is interesting question to everything, like all look there are. let's put it this way. So there are wallets that are associated with an email. You could now say this is a VeVe wallet, and then there are
Mhm.
MetaMask wallet that are not associated with an email. But yes, if let's say you have two wallets on the buddy system, you can kind of move them back and forth, but according to the rules that the licensors would say. So um, and in a way, just maybe also to be clear, if you maybe associate a MetaMask and your Collect wallet, we will can display the ownership of these two wallets. So there's not a real need to move them back and forth as a user, as long as you have associated them together.
Okay, great. Let me see if we're getting any more here. Will there be account security like a 2FA to protect our assets?
Yeah, I mean, it was a question that we also had on Stacker. There
Hmm.
is a way to do it. I just didn't want users to fuck up the Stacker wallet and kind of
Yeah,
forget about the 2FA. So yes, it is possible, and we might allow it users to enable it, but it would be at their own risk. Once they lose the access to the 2FA, there's nothing we can do, right?
exactly. Link them so the artist or IP verifies if the user holds a full set. Let's say, when the IP wants to do like a, airdrop or something.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, I think I mean, we do it already, right, on Stacker.
Yeah,
You can link multiple wallets and we can aggregate them. I think that's the future. We haven't spec'd out this function yet, but I mean for Collect, but I see a user having multiple wallets and being rewarded, for example, for all of these wallets, either with airdrops or only staking, whatever. So this is something which is absolutely possible. Maybe I haven't thought through all the possibilities, because you once you associate a wallet, it shouldn't be that easy to associate to another account, right? So to kind of gain the airdrop twice, but if that's solved, I don't see any problem to do it like that way.
okay. Will Collect Chain now allow Vivi to get into gaming? I feel this is a bridge we need for those hesitating to buy digital collectibles. Maybe a skin you can only get on Vivi for Fortnite. That might be a bit of
Yeah, I mean,
speculation, but yeah.
yeah, I can't speculate on that. All I can say is I think also my personally, and that's why we're building that
Hmm.
infrastructure, that VV collectibles can be perfect for gaming because
Yes.
because also of AI, right? So
Hmm.
if you think about the cars, and then an AI can maybe easily adapt them to this specific game with high speed and behavior in acceleration, etc. And plus they can be maybe refitted with skeleton, or can be rigged, right? And we can see already some of the stuff that somebody takes a picture of a VV collectible and then they start moving. So I think in the future it's going to become more easy to integrate VV collectibles in games. And if the licensor allows that, then I'm 100% up for it, because that's why we actually built collect chain, so that we can enable it.
Okay, perfect. And by the way, guys, this survey is still pinned at the top. While you're here listening, please, if you don't mind, hit up that survey and answer the questions to help shape the future of digital collectibles. Thank you. And we have a lot of good questions here. Okay, so I think we're covering everything. There's kind of a few repetitive ones, so I won't go into them. Uh-uh. Yeah, let me know if you see any other ones, Foster, that we haven't really covered. Some people may have been late, so you might just need to listen back to the space, guys. This is one of those.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly, and once again, I know I said this before, but it's a lot of information to throw at people, right? And
Hmm.
so we totally get that it may be a bit technical and stuff, but I think there's been a lot of fantastic nuggets to take away from it. I know some people maybe they have something to say or ask, and they can't really figure out how to write it. If
Hmm.
you're seeing a couple people that want to request at this juncture, I mean, we're at about an hour. If we want to dedicate maybe 15 minutes or so to community questions, if there's people that want to come up and ask questions, all that I would ask is that people remember that the scope of this today is meant to be about collect. So if you have specific VeVe or OMI questions, just be mindful that there may be another time that we would answer those. I think today let's try and focus on all the great information that we have here from Dr. Collect. So if there's anything that he said or didn't say that you have questions about related to collect and the chain and the things that they're looking to build, raise your hand and come on up and ask away.
Perfect. Dr. Collect, try to throw the co-host at Foster again, in case we need to. Sometimes you need extra space. So if he's a co-host, it'll help. Okay.
Oh,
So just click on his picture there. I just
okay.
say,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, this is your chance, guys. You're gonna come up. A good thing about Dr. Collect, he'll answer all the questions. We have Crypto Ed. So, Crypto Ed, are you there? I'm hoping you didn't click by mistake and you have a question. We're in the AMA section now, a little bit. Crypto Ed. If you haven't been on a space before, you have to hit the little microphone on the bottom left. There you
Hello.
go.
Oh, okay, great. My question was more on transfers. I think Dr. Collect had mentioned something about transfers. I want to know if he can maybe expound on that a little bit more.
So yes, yes. So just want to preface that there are now ERC standards that the new NFT projects use that limit transfers, right, in order to enforce royalties. And as I mentioned before, we want have licensors in mind to grow the space. So we want to do right by them, and but we can do better than these new NFT standards. So while on the one hand we want licensors to allow you to transfer to family and friends, we when you transfer outside of that, we will or we can charge a royalty, could be based on the current floor price or maybe the best bid for a collectible. So that's something we kind of have a marketplace protocol. But yeah, the goal is that licensors can earn royalties, that they are interested in that space. And while it's self custody, just be aware that there could be limits, like the new ERC 721C standard, on the transfer. But licensor can also just allow in general transfers. I mean, for example, DC Comics doesn't have royalties and baked in in the season one, etc. Items. They could also just say like, look, you can just transfer it. So we will leave that question out, and the licensor can configure that in the future.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Ed.
Thanks.
Like you guys heard, we have another about 10 minutes. If you guys want to come up, ask any questions, this is your space to do so. But maybe this shows that we did a really good job of covering everything. But we'll see. We have a few more minutes here. We will bring my guy Bildo up. Just connecting right now. Bildo, are you with us?
GM.
GM, bro.
Thanks for having me up.
Jim.
Foster, Millie, Dr. C now, I guess it is.
Yep.
Just curious if we'll get like the white paper and or dev docs behind like the collect chain and infrastructure going into it. Is that something that will be in December when the website goes live?
No, look, the when it comes to also SDK for building apps, etc., this is more for phase two where we are preparing this. So right now, as I said, like we're focusing on the migration for VeVe. And look, we can start discussions, obviously, and we're obviously very interested. We don't need a white paper in terms of like other crypto projects. So it will be more like, let's say, documentation for SDKs on how you can use those assets. Um, and in the rest is kind of a general purpose blockchain. And we have to also define the strategy on how we invite the first developers on our chain. It's nothing we had like immediate, we don't have immediately on the radar for the next few months.
Gotcha. And are those SDKs kind of like custom palettes that different licensors can tap into to be able to kind of either control where their assets are shared and or enforce whatever royalties are needed?
So we think that the licensor will be just using our website or like an internal tool to do it. So basically, it's going to be more like a website, while the SDK is for app developers. So how can we ensure that these assets can be transferred or retrieved within the app and decrypted, right? Because we have an encrypted content, and we'll have an encrypted content delivery network. So look, some of the stuff I'm just pre-warning is a little bit down the line. So we want to make sure that everything works smoothly. And obviously, we're interested in app developer or game developer to join as soon as possible. But it's not nothing we have like on the immediate roadmap for the next few months.
Gotcha. Much appreciated. And I guess just one follow-up question to that would, like, through the website then, are all of those things that licensors can do kind of customizable so they can pick and choose where they would want their collectibles to have access to or be able to be transferred or used, and or I would imagine that licensors have different royalty agreements. Some might want more, some might want less.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I follow 100%, but yeah, I mean, look, the since it's a smart contract, there's some individual possibilities. What we see is we need some sort of registry, right? So if you're an app developer, you will have to register your app with Collect Chain, right, or your game. If it's not registered on our chain, no one can give you access to the collectibles, right? So we have to kind of have a flow where we accept registrations, and once you're registered, then technically a licensor can whitelist you your app. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think so. I guess for like royalties, is that like customizable?
I mean, at the moment they are kind of customized. They can be different, right? So yeah, so we can have different royalties. I'm not 100% aware if what other needs licensors will need, but everything, if we can do it on the on chain or in the smart contract, we will be able to do. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I could keep going on, but I appreciate the time, and I won't take up anybody else's time.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you, Bildo. We just had Pixel Trader, my guy from Discord. I think he may have gotten rugged. Let's see if we can get him back real quick. Okay, I think he's coming back. Pixel Trader, you there, bro?
Yeah, sorry about that. Every time I
Hey,
came up to speak here, it'd go silent. So thanks for being patient.
no problem at all, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, I really appreciate the space. This is great to hear. I think moving to a blockchain made from the ground up for collecting is just so exciting, and bringing big IPs that can just jump on and turn on features is just really, really good to hear. So I appreciate this passion project of yours. I wanted to ask, I'm not sure if you talked about it yet. I missed a little bit earlier, talking about gaming and interoperability, but I wanted to see if you could maybe touch on kind of your vision or what role you see with Collect bringing big IP onto AR, VR, XR, and just all that kind of, digital vision of the future.
Okay, that's a good one. I mean, first of all, 100% believe in the future of AR. I think the short term wins are more on the gaming side, but so the that's the we see collect chain as the infrastructure to enable all those apps to build with VV collectibles. Also, I think AI could be in the future a very important standalone application. Picture you have a movie set, you could check in some of your collectibles and then write a script or something, and then like look, there's a thousand of possibilities. I personally believe that in 5 years we will be living in an augmented reality world, and we can actually host everything what has to do with augmented reality on chain. So I imagine that you have an environment at home with your whatever 20 most favorite collectibles, or maybe they rotate. A friend comes with AR glasses, you let them in on your environment. They will be able to check, okay, the Spider-Man that is in your corner is actually this mint number, and it's actually physically even checked in on this location. So we really want to kind of, or picture you in a metaverse, you see a collectible. How do you know if it's fake or not? It's not fake if it's fake if it's not checked in to that metaverse or checked into that computer game. So we really think that users, because of AI, everything fakes will the cost of fakes will go down to zero. So it will be even more important to show. It could be like a QR code. You scan the QR code, it opens the blockchain explorer, and it will say, look, yes, this is the original. It is really registered at this exact location. And therefore, this is a bit how I envision that we are protecting the licensors, we're protecting the users by always, like, you can be sure that something is authentic when you buy it on our chain. I might have diverted a little bit the question, or maybe did I fully answer, or do you have some follow up?
No, no, that was great. I think, we're all aware, like you said, fraud's a big issue and how many things are in circulation. And I sell a lot of stuff on eBay. There's just issues that come up. So for me, I love looking at a blockchain, whether it's, through VeVe or Panini, and you can see how many exist. It's authenticated, transferred to you instantly. You can look at it. So once that kind of comes to, like you said, AR and VR, it's going to, I think, bring a whole new level of, enjoying these collectibles that we all love.
Cool. Thanks.
Great point. And we don't have anyone else requesting. So, Bildo, if you want to throw one more, up to you, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, I know you mentioned story a little bit. I'm curious, like, what specifically kind of sets you guys apart outside of what story does, and like to even further it. I know you've talked about bringing on big licensors, but I don't think people have quite grasped that like our data is kind of like the new IP. So, are there
Mm.
plans to be able to give individuals ways to tokenize their own like data or quote unquote IP?
Yeah, and maybe that's a bit like so I respect 100% what Story Protocol wants to achieve. So maybe the biggest difference is to think about it in this way. We want to solve problems of big licensors. Big licensors, for example, don't have the problem that their IP needs to be mixed with a small YouTuber, right? And so while Story Protocol is solving all these, or aims to solve these problems, how IPs can be mixed, or you have a derivative of this IP and everyone gets compensated. This is literally not a problem that big IPs have. They, in fact, don't want their IP to be mixed, right? And so the other part thing that sets us apart is we have a content delivery network. We'll have an ecosystem of apps and games, And we're really focusing on you buy digital assets, now I want to use it. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but story protocol is like, okay, we somehow bring the IP on chain. It's something like a smart contract, and it will now be able to divert or like stream the revenues to different owners. And I don't think it's that's a problem of big IP licensors. And I don't think that Story Protocol solves the content delivery network and how you can use items in different apps. Again, you can correct me on that.
Yeah, I guess my understanding was like licensors could bring their IP onto the protocol, be able to then kind of decide how they want that IP to be shared, who can it be shared with, and then also enforce royalties to be able to then allow said user to use that IP while the original licensor or owner of that IP would be able to continue to get royalties, whoever is using that IP.
I mean, do they have an encrypted content delivery network? So we really want to make sure that, okay, you own the asset. You have to prove that you own the asset. And then the license agreement determines, okay, this app can use it. And now, if both is verified, is checked, okay, user owns it, and the licensor agrees that it can be used, now you can use it in the game. I think that's a different set of problems we try to solve compared to Story Protocol.
Gotcha.
I think the
Okay,
really
we got
interest.
Rain Man here.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, sorry.
Hey
I'll
guys,
come to you for in a second, Foster. Rain Man, what's up, bro?
what's up, bro? How we doing?
Good, good. How
Um,
are
Good,
you?
good.
good. I'm not sure if you guys answered this earlier. I just got to join now. Just got out of work. Just wanted to kind of get a better understanding of how Collect incorporates with Omi. Does it replace it, or is it simply just a network? I'm sure you guys answered it already. Sorry to ask it again.
Yeah, I'll be brief. So we're layer two blockchain similar to Base, where and we will have more throughput than Base and aim at cheaper transactions. We don't need a network token, or in fact, if we use a gas token, it will be ETH or USDC. However, we will enable all the utilities that are built right now, or maybe future utilities. So we 200% support all the activities when it comes to utility and the OMI token.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, are we able to ask him anything about Stacker, or is it just Collect?
You can ask Stacker, sure.
So you know how you guys have that feature under analytics where you can see like the percentage and movement for each collectible over like 24 hours, 30 days, and 7 days.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is it possible? So recently I saw my vault, go up in value, let's say a
Yeah.
thousand bucks, $2,000. We're not able to really tell what in your vault was it that brought up your value without actually going through the whole market and seeing what went up. Is it possible to get analytics on your personal wallet?
Yeah, yeah. Look, I'm gonna be honest. It's we had a lot of things on our plate, and I understand where your request is coming from. In general, I can encourage if you write an email to feature minus request at stacker.world. We basically have a system to collect all those ideas. Um, but look, for example, we're busy with Omi to Gem. There's always something that we can build,
No,
and
listen, I don't even
yeah,
mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to say thank you. I did not mean that in a way of disrespect. I was just asking if you had it in mind, but you guys have done a great job with Stacker. I am not questioning
thank
you
you.
whatsoever.
Thanks. Yeah, look, just write an email and then we have it on our list. Yeah.
Thank you guys for the
Ama-
time.
Amazing. Thank you, Rain Man, and thank you. A lot of kind comments coming in about just being happy to get all the information. So I do appreciate that. I think we're gonna close it here, and I'll be bugging Foster for a special Omi space soon. I think that's my next move. Foster, we have to make that happen. I'm sitting in front of 300 people. Just no pressure, no pressure.
Diamonds are formed under pressure.
Oh, this guy's good. This guy is good. I do have one more for you, Dr. Collect, because I saw this on Facebook. Shout to the Facebook fam. You know, they're kind of a forgotten people, but trust, some people still use Facebook, I promise you. But they were saying, you know, Vivi has been pushing this whole thing of being very easy to use for what we call normies, you know, Web 2
Mhm.
people. And now we're, you know, effectively just gone right over to crypto. And I know it's simple for us. Just want to make sure there'll be, you know, work being done in the background to really ease them into
Yeah.
what's happening here. And I know we covered it, but I want them to hear from
Yeah,
you
look, look,
because,
look.
yeah.
I think it's a fair question, and
Mhm.
I would also invite you to use maybe Courtyard.io.
Yes.
Um, there is a way to cater to both Web 2 and Web 3. I'm not saying that we completely succeeded with Stacker, but for example, on since there's also USD listings, right, on or USDC listings, the user, right, that logs in with an email sees an item for $20 and can now pay with a credit card. In the background, everything is handled with crypto transactions. So, in an ideal world, actually, the answer is that the blockchain just runs in the background and you don't even know that you use the blockchain. And this is exactly what we can do. And on I think on Courtyard, you can then just switch. If you have USDC, you can also pay with USDC. But let's say the default payment method is credit card. Everyone is happy, and then you can off ramp your dollars using Stripe. So honestly, I think it will feel if it's done well like a normal Web 2 application, but with the possibility that also Web 3 user can be happy with it.
And I think that's all people want. Once again, just the option of these things is the best way forward, in my opinion. I have to call out the person who sent this question because they only care about games. If you can answer it, and then we'll be out of here. I think Bill will know who. Will there be? Oh, will you guys be reaching out to developers, specifically game developers from gaming studios, or will they just have to come to find collect? Basically, how proactive will you guys be in getting games to utilize the chain?
Yeah, I mean, once we have built out that infrastructure a little bit more around that topic, we will be reaching out. And I'm pretty sure that one of the VV founders has a lot of these connections and he's highly interested in the success. Therefore, I mean, maybe some of the names that are already visible, look, they will be open for collaboration with us. And we haven't talked to anyone yet, but there are some of these conversations already happening in the background. It was not just on my personal focus.
Oh, okay. And I think, can I just clap for myself a little bit here? Because I got a call from Foster earlier, and he wanted to make sure I was going to do my usual shenanigans of trying to get you guys to say things that you definitely should not be saying. And I think I've done well. It's been difficult, but I think I've done well. I want to thank you both so much for putting this space on. I'm not kidding. Even I'm on. Shout out to Mark Omi in the crowd that sent me a screenshot from Facebook. People are very happy with the amount of detail we've gone into here so they can understand everything that's happening. I have to say thank you to Dr. Collect for that. And thank you guys for letting me host this, man. It's been an honor to say the least. And I hope we can have a lot more of these. Just I understand because I'm a guy who runs a lot of spaces. People just want information and they want understanding. The more you can come out here, whether you have the answer they want or not, it's more just about them feeling heard, and just explained to so they can understand what's going on. And I think we did that today. So thank you very much. To close the space, Dr. P, after I play a bit of this song, it'll just be that end button at the top right. You see it there?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
oh, one more question I gotta ask you. As a builder, and I know you're like a serial entrepreneur, Dr. Collect. I don't know how many businesses you got. As a visionary, let me ask you, where do you see Collect in like 2 years?
In 2 years, I think the goal is that we have built all the tooling necessary, and I think we will enter also a space where augmented reality will become interesting, and then I hope we can integrate on an operating level on, let's say, the latest meta glasses. That would be my dream. And then you can basically use VV collectibles in your environment, in your space, and invite others. So I think this shared AR experience is something which hasn't been, which has some future. And look, I mean, I'm gonna be happy if we onboard uh, 10, 20, 30 more of the licensors. So if we want quality and big ones, we want cross-selling. We want to sell, enable licensors to sell directly. That's something I mentioned in the beginning. So there's a lot of like smaller things how to grow that ecosystem. Picture you're in an online store of a big brand, and instead of a physical delivery, you get a VV collectible delivered or to your email, right? So this is something we by then in 2 years I want a bigger ecosystem, and it should become a no-brainer to launch your digital IP or digital collectibles on collect/VV/ whoever is will partner with us.